debacle, an English historian once said, "Society prepares the crime, the criminals commit it." Hello, my name is Taylor Quino, and I will be representing the negative side with my partner, Alan Tang. We do not agree with making strictly legal guns easily available. However, we do feel strongly about keeping the status quo on legal gun restriction sales and ownership the same in urban areas. The resolution that the affirmative side agrees with resolved that the U.S. federal government should significantly increase restrictions on gun sales and ownership in urban areas should change, and we will discuss why throughout this debate. Significantly increased restrictions means adding new regulations to gun laws in urban areas. Now let us break some things down for you. Significant means important, having, or expressing a meaning. Increase means to make greater as in number, size, strength, or quality. Restrictions means to confine or keep within limits as of space, action, choice, intensity, or quantity. And most importantly, urban, meaning of, pertaining to, or designating a city or town, all defined by dictionary.com. GSPPI.edu shares, with all communities are affected by crime and criminal justice system, residents in large urban areas are particularly impacted. Our point of view is that legal gun sales and ownership should stay the same in urban areas because of the Second Amendment, the moral aspect, and the economical value. Our first contention deals with the right to bear arms. The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution is the part of the United States Bill of Rights that protects the right of the people to keep and bear arms. It was adopted on December 15, 1791. Our founding fathers once wrote for the Second Amendment, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." Times.com shares, the Supreme Court ruled on June 28, 2010, in challenge to Chicago's gun control law, the Americans in all 50 states have a constitutional right to possess firearms for self-defense. Gun rights supporters are ecstatic about the decision. The floodgates are now open for the lawsuits challenging state and local gun control laws nationwide, but based on what the majority actually said, it seems likely that many of these challenges will fail. By increasing restrictions on legal gun sales and ownership in urban areas, it may take away that right for the people to bear arms. As of now, those convicted of crimes punishable by imprisonment for over 1 year, fugitives from the justice system, unlawful users of certain depressants, narcotic, or stimulant drugs, illegal aliens, citizens who have renounced their citizenship, persons convicted in any court of misdemeanor crime, of domestic violence, and many more are ineligible to buy a legal gun. So if there are already all these restrictions, why make more? Adding even more restrictions to legal guns would not make the Second Amendment intact. The affirmative side argues that too many unstable people are obtaining a gun. Our second contention is that it's the person, not the gun, but there are still other ways to kill. The federal government has already established many restrictions on legal guns as stated in our first contention. Most of those restrictions deal with those who are mentally unstable. John Shank has been accused of stabbing his own mother, Nancy. After Nancy Shank was stabbed to death, Daniel Shank convinced his son to turn himself in. Historically, my son was a wonderful young man. Obviously, he's suffering from some mental illness. This is a tragedy for me, for my wife, for my daughter, for my son. Mental illness is a very difficult thing to deal with. Those who are mentally stable are most likely to commit these types of crimes with or without a gun. And being that they can't own a gun, they will use something else. Even if you take that gun away from them, there's still other ways to kill. You have to take away their person, or at least their motives, not the restriction on the weapon. Our third contention is the economics. As everyone may know, our economy is clearly in trouble, so why add another thing to worry about? By increasing restriction on gun sales and ownership in urban areas, it is adding another thing to tax and our government to pay for. Also, if gun restriction sales and ownership is increased, wouldn't more people turn to the black market? Black market means the illegally permitted or authorized buying and selling of goods in violation of legal price controls, rationing, etc., defined by dictionary.com. People who are in violation of people who were not qualified to get a gun would turn to the black market and buy their guns illegally. Examiner.com shares, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms estimate that there are over 258 million firearms in circulation in the United States, and 1.5 to 2 million new handguns are manufactured or imported each year. And many surveys suggest criminals obtain their weapons through this illegal firearm market. One study indicates that 37% of their arrests, criminals said they could obtain a gun in less than a week, while another 20% said they could get a firearm in a day or less. Also, what about the people who qualify to buy the guns, who give them to people who do not qualify, quite like the black market? New York Times shares in only 13% of the crimes was the original buyer of the gun person using it to commit the crime. In 87% of the crimes, the gun had changed hands, the report found. Affirmative states that it would increase murder rate. Well, Gary Kleck, a criminologist, someone who studies crime, states, every day, 550 rapes, 1,100 murders, and 5,200 other violent crimes are prevented just by showing a handgun. In less than 0.9% of the time is the gun actually fired. We shouldn't take that right away from people. They also brought up how the mentally unstable would use the guns. Well, we just said that they could use other weapons. Attack the person, not the gun. Vote negative.